We are live. Hey everyone, welcome to Hacks Chats Interviews. We have Pixel Traitor today. He is going to be talking to us about his IndieCron. But before we go to that, I'd like to introduce myself, Art T. Bear here at the helm. And as always, we have Taylor Grosso.
Hi, everybody. I'll be, oh, by the way, Art, did you realize this is the first video of the year?
Oh, 2019, yes.
It's our first 2019 video. And if you guys want to join the conversation, ask Pixel some questions or just join the conversation, I will read your chat.
Yeah, so big happy New Year's to everybody out there. And also, just to back up just for a minute, thank you so much for making 2018 such a wonderful year for us. Black and White is a crazy success, and it's all because of you. So thank you so very much. Yeah, 2018 was great, and we're so looking forward to what 2019 brings. So without further ado, Pixel Trader, how are you?
I'm doing good, and it's an honor to be on your first stream of the year.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, lots been happening since last time we talked. It's been about 2 months. Been pretty crazy.
Yes, and just another thank you. Thank you so much for all the support that you've given the Comicsgate books and Black and White specifically. This is an amazing time, and this is an amazing group of people. So. Yeah, just think 2019 Pixel. Gosh, I mean, based on 2018 success, 2019 is going to be like incomprehensible. I'm not even going to be able to the success and these books that are going to come out and the growth of this this movement. It's astounding.
Yeah, absolutely. We saw a lot of big books hit, and it's going to be interesting with the fulfillment over the next couple of months. And when they start putting out their bigger books and stuff, like you guys have some stuff coming down the pipe, and I know, Rainbow Brute's on the horizon. Graveyard Shift #2 is on the horizon. There's a lot of stuff that's going to hit in the next 6 months. And I think we're going to have probably a year. If anything goes like the way it happened last summer, we may be looking at like 4 million by books and stuff by the end of the year.
Mamma mia.
It's hard to say for sure because you can't really project all that, but based on what we saw with the books previously, it's looking good.
Well, we just talked to some of the Graveyard Shift guys yesterday, and so yeah, there may be some cross pollination stuff going on in the future.
Oh, right on.
Yeah,
very cool.
There's talks.
Yeah, there's a really talented group of people that got picked up for that next book too. So I'm really happy to see the community is starting to help one another out. They're starting to pull each other in to work on projects together. You've got the Gatekeepers project that's going to be coming out in a few months. That a ton of people are working on.
Yeah, I think they you guys contacted me for this, right?
Oh, for upcoming?
Yeah.
Or for the Gatekeepers thing.
Which one was it?
So I contacted you about upcoming, which we can talk about here in a second. But the Gatekeepers, I think it's Beyond the Gate or something like that, Tales from Beyond the Gate, which I think, if I'm not mistaken, has like 20 people attached to it right now. It's an anthology book.
Wow.
Oh, that's right. Okay, yeah, I was blending the two together.
Yeah, that project, it's really cool because you do have some of the bigger guys like Ethan and such attached to it, which are doing 1 or 2 pages here and there. But then you've got a lot of other people contributing stories and art to this, and it's a really big project through a lot of different people. That I think it's going to get some people some really good exposure so they can build out their fan base before their books come out in the next couple of months.
It's a very good time to break into the indie comic scene right now, contrary to what the mainstream will tell you.
Well, through Comicsgate specifically, there are people that are still floundering trying to do this. Yeah.
Yeah, agreed. There's a saying that I did in Fanspeak a couple of nights back. Basically, 2018 was that shot heard around the world, but 2019 is where we show we're here to stay.
Yeah, staying power.
And the staying power is going to be big. I mean, we have to execute. We have to commit to putting our books out faster and upping the quality and making sure that we meet the demands of our customers. But ultimately, this could be a huge year for us.
And people have to realize like Image in the early days, and I was there as well. There's a learning curve. There's a major, major learning curve here. Most of us are wearing hats that we've never, ever worn before. So there's going to be quite a learning curve. And so what the translation of that's going to be is not a lack of quality, but just it may take a little more time to get the early products to people, the early books. And then, like you said, we'll be learning and taking the I guess like taking the burrs off of things, taking out some of the kinks and getting things into a well-oiled machine status, which is very important
absolutely,
for the consumer base. And I understand that, but I also understand the learning curve. And you guys just have to realize none of us are sitting on our hands. You know what I mean? Like, it's taking a little bit longer than we thought, but we're still working towards this every day, every hour. I'm putting more hours in than I've ever put in. Well, I can't say in my career, but in a long, long time. So 10, 12-hour days, 7 days a week to try to get all this to work. So yeah, everybody's working really hard to get these books into your hands.
And that's a very good point too. You know, some of these campaigns in the past where people have taken the money and run, they just stop communicating with their fans and people wonder where everything went. It's a lot different with CG, where some of these books are getting a little bit late or behind the scenes, but they're sitting there, you know, streaming every single week, basically saying, "Hey, this is where I'm at. You know, this is what the book looks like so far." They're keeping people updated and letting them know, "Hey, it's slipping, but I swear I'm working on it." And you can see the progress as we go. So,
yeah, there's an incredible transparency with all the comics gators and with their YouTube channels and things like that. So I don't think anybody is neglecting updates and stuff like that.
Yeah.
It's just I think John said it best the other night. John Malin he was given advice, and I wish I would have heard this advice maybe earlier on. But he said, whatever you think you're going to be able to deliver, add 2 months to it. So it sounds crazy, but it might be the best advice, because he was also saying the artist ego. We like to think that we can get things done a lot faster than we can, you know, sometimes, and not taking in consideration, you know, the multiple hats, the YouTube, and you know, and different things like promotions.
Yep.
You know, a lot of us are writing books that we've never, you know, done before, and you know, for me, just penciling is, you know, is it's not out of my wheelhouse, but it's just not a skill that's as polished as like my inking is, you know. So yeah, it's quite a learning curve. But anyway, we're here to talk about IndieCron.
Yes.
IndieCron. Yeah, like you got some crazy new plans for this thing. It was pretty kick-ass, if I can say ass on my own channel.
I think you're allowed to, yeah.
Demonetized.
Demonetized. Thanks, YouTube. Oh, Taylor's got a rant about demonetizing YouTube that she'll probably say later. But
I was going to say I'll save that before I derail everything.
Because we're building the energy up for IndieCron. So you have a lot of new plans for IndieCron, a whole new facelift and everything. So why don't you fill everybody in on the new plans?
Sure. Yeah. So like you were just saying, there's a lot of stuff happening, and it's going to come out in phases for the most part, because we're going to launch a bunch of different stuff over the next couple of months. But the biggest thing that we're pushing right now is the upcoming section, which is basically a pre-campaign section for books. So a lot of these creators, you'll see them, it happens quite a bit, and it's happened over the last few months. Somebody drops a book on Indiegogo and nobody sees it. Nobody knows anything about it until it's 2 or 3 weeks into its campaign and it's barely got any funding, and then it just finally starts to pick up speed. We want to address that situation by allowing people to start pre-campaigning. So,
real quick, Pixel, could you tell everybody maybe who hasn't heard of IndieCron what it is exactly, just in case?
Yeah, absolutely. So IndieCron originally started as just a site to track Indiegogo campaigns for Comicsgate. It was a couple books, just a small list that was getting updated on a fairly decent basis, but it was a spreadsheet originally. I took that concept and built it into an automated system that was able to be completely automated and updated through the back end. So I never have to touch it. Once I get somebody logged into the system, it goes and does its own thing. So it's become the kind of a central hub for people to find books that are related to Comicsgate. And over the last 6 months, from the point where I created it to where we are now, it went from just a handful of books to over, I think it's like 60 some odd books that it's tracking or has tracked.
Yeah, and I think we're one notch away from being in the top 10. So let's do this, guys.
Yeah.
I like watching it. It's fun, but it's also a little competitive. So I'm like, we got to get Black and White into the top 10. I think we're one notch away. Yeah.
Gotcha. Yeah. You guys are coming up pretty good. I haven't taken a look at it today, but I'm not sure. The amount of books that we've got in here recently, the whole last couple of months with crowdfunding kind of slowing down and stuff, we've seen a few books not quite reach their goals. And some of that, I believe, is due to marketing. Some of it is the holiday season, but I think a lot of it was these books just dropped. And people were like, oh, what book is this? And what we're trying to address here is create a hub site that people can come into, not only to see where the current books that are trending are, but come to see what's coming up next. And kind of get a calendar idea of, okay, in February, these books are coming out. In March, these books are coming out, that kind of thing. So that we can give people a really good view of everything that they're going to be able to see and back and kind of build up that hype for those books. Yeah,
and like Edwin says too, where if people know in advance, they can start saving for these things because, everybody, we're all on a budget. So they can also start budgeting on how that they can purchase all these books as well.
Yeah. There was a plethora of books that landed or hit right about the same time in the middle of the summer, and it was pretty hard for people. It really stressed their budgets for sure. But
Black and White did really well when we went in demand.
Yeah.
And we weren't going to do it at first because we wanted to, because we came from the Kickstarter world, Taylor and I did. And we were also kind of coming into it's an event,
Mm-hmm.
So if it's 30 days or whatever, then it seems more like it's an event. But talking to people like yourself convinced us that there are people that want to back the book, but in that time frame, they just don't have the resources to purchase it. So, like last month, we did quite well. In a month where in the December month, where usually things don't do well.
Yeah.
So, the one cool thing about the way this is all structured, I don't want to take advantage too much of it, but that these stores help the campaign. So if somebody can't buy Cyberfrog the first month, then if it stays in the shop for another month, then they can, allocate funds to buy that book or, one of the other books as well.
Yeah. And that's definitely a good point too. I was just looking at numbers earlier today too for Mike Miller actually. And I was pointing out that Lone Star ended at, I think it was around 70 or something like that. And just past Graveyard Shift, I think today or yesterday or something in the last couple of days. So he's up over 106 right now. So, in the time that it took, I think it was I think it ended in September, the main campaign, if I'm not mistaken or something.
Yeah.
Yes.
So between September and December, he's went up about $30,000.
Yeah. Over 30.
Yeah. And that's just the power of having the store open and being able to continue to promote. So a lot of these books, definitely, if they make their goal, they need to stay open and push and push. The campaign doesn't necessarily end when your 60 days are up.
Yeah. Go ahead, Taylor.
Oh, so yeah, a lot of people don't realize that one of the things that Indiegogo has over Kickstarter, you can do it on Kickstarter, but it's kind of more of a process. You have to use BackerKit and stuff. But Indiegogo has it built in where if you have a successful campaign, it can get converted into an in-demand store. So some of you guys that might think the Black and White campaign proper is over, but it is actually still available in the in-demand store as we speak right now. So don't, if you're following campaigns and you think you missed your chance, you might want to check in because a lot of those more successful ones usually stay in demand for a while before production.
Oh,
Nice. Yeah.
Yeah, totally. So that's a really good point, and I think that these campaigns, some of the ones that are smaller, what we really want to do here, to kind of build on that, is get them into our system first, so that they build up that hype and stuff, and get those campaigns to a point where they can be successful. That way, they can go into in demand. And what's happening is some of them they aren't quite ready, I think. And what we're trying to do is give a little more support. So what we did with IndieCron, actually, you can go to, if you click on submit your campaign up there on the top right, you'll be able to see that we've got a system now for sites to come in. We've got little specs and everything in it for these different forms. So actually, I guess this is a good way to kind of segue into this, but we have the upcoming campaigns forms now, so people can come in and submit their campaigns for upcoming and get their campaign started to get some promotion and everything once that system goes live. But we also have a new form for current campaigns to submit themselves. The other part of this too is we have creator profiles now. And I talked to you guys a little bit behind the scenes about this, but
that's very cool, by the way. Yeah,
it is.
The creator profiles is going to be huge, I think, too, for a number of reasons. The first and foremost is that you'll be able to go through and click through to a creator and see what books they've worked on, what they've currently have running, if they have a campaign running. You also get to see the books that they've worked on previously, as well as the upcoming stuff. You also get to see how much money they've made over time. But it's also going to link out to their other creators and other people that they've worked with.
Ooh.
So you wind up in this whole, the goal of this is to basically build a network. And you'll be able to go into the creators section of our site and say you're looking for a penciler. You can limit the group and filter it down to pencilers and say, okay, all these people here are pencilers. Let me reach out to one. Like if you're a writer and you need a penciler, you'll be able to go and find somebody.
It's like LinkedIn, but not invasive.
Pretty much, yeah.
And more comics centric and comics gate centric.
Exactly. Yeah, we're definitely trying to push people that way and say, hey, look, we would really like to have a profile for you. All the current creators that are listed in our system, we're trying to get their information and basic details for like social media and stuff so that they can have a presence on the creator section. And what we're doing currently, though, is limiting it just to creators that are either currently listed on our site or have upcoming campaigns.
Okay.
Eventually, what I'd like to do is create a full-on networking system so that people who haven't actually published anything yet or don't have a project currently can find each other. But that's going to be the next iteration of the system.
Well, that's what I was going to ask you, because I do portfolio reviews with Taylor's help. Mm-hmm. And we were doing it every week, but we've kind of the holidays and stuff. But we usually do it around 2 to 3 times a week or a month. How would I be able to, in time, steer some of this talent to IndieCron? Would that even be something that that I should think about?
Absolutely. Yeah. Okay. So that's another point too. So one of the things that we announced just earlier this week is IndieCron is forming its own comics label. We're calling it In Comics, and we are currently looking for artists. Okay. So if there are artists out there that are interested in having a book done, we have a lot of stories we want to get done, and we need artists badly.
Okay, well, what I'll do then, we'll be in contact as this thing progresses, but I'll start at the end, or while we're doing the reviews, for some of the better talent, I'll tell them to. Would they send the submission to you? How would they go about it? I know this is still early, but
sure. No, indiecron@gmail.com is the best way to get their information over to us. What we're looking for is about 3 to 5 pages of sequentials.
Okay,
showing what they can do.
So nice. What I'll do with some of the better talent that comes through there, I'll just tell them, if they're interested, to send their portfolio to you at the Gmail address, and see if we can get some new talent a break, in the industry.
Yeah, absolutely.
And there have been a few people who have come through the portfolio reviews. I think I've gotten work since then.
Yeah,
I think a few.
Yeah, I think one of the guys that we reviewed got some work on Detective Dead.
Nice.
Yeah, and
very cool.
One of the guys we've already teased that we may be using in a future project, and there's another one that, Taylor, the guy with the, it was like that caveman guy and
Nathan Rosario.
That might be
very good.
That might be a good book for you, Pixel. Yeah, it looked really good.
Yeah, he's very good. And then there's Render Contender, of course.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
we may be using Renter for something.
He's ours. You leave him alone.
You leave him alone, Pixel.
Yeah, he's the one that got picked up for Graveyard Shift, right?
Oh, did he?
Yeah.
Oh,
No, I mean,
Sons of-
yes.
I'm pretty sure that's he was one of the guys that got picked up for that.
Okay, because we reviewed his. I think it was the last review we did.
That's right.
Where I teased that we may be in contact with him. Oh man,
You missed your chance.
got to act fast.
Yeah.
But that's the fun part about this, you know, that people are coming, you know, out of seemingly nowhere and being picked up for some of these big projects. So that's pretty cool.
Yeah, and John's been doing really good stuff there, promoting the community and working on picking up people and trying to raise up people in Comicsgate to be able to get them work and get them names as well.
Oh yeah, he's been doing major things, and yeah, he supported Black and White. It's so weird because it seems like I've worked in this industry for 35 years, and usually, well, I'd say the majority of the time you don't see this kind of generosity in the industry. You don't see people supporting other people that much because it's not intuitive because there's a competition factor that enters into the equation.
Yeah.
And so usually artists and writers aren't this generous with other people. Mm-hmm. But that's why this is so interesting and so amazing, is because there is quite, I want to say community. I know a lot of people aren't comfortable with community, but there's quite a community here that's building, and that they all are supporting each other to try to build something better. And maybe influence. Maybe if the template works, maybe in time, like you said, this next year, the end of 2019, we get to a template that really works. Then who knows? We might be getting all kinds of people, coming in, and it could be possibly the next big Image Comics boom.
Yeah, it's quite possible. And there's a lot of really talented people, and I call it a community too. It's hard not to. Honestly, I mean, it's a group of people that I've become pretty close with. I talk to a lot of these people daily, and I consider pretty much everybody my friends. So when I'm talking to these people and I'm helping them with their books and I'm helping to promote them, it's a community to me. So,
yeah, I think it has a negative context because community is associated with SJWs, but let's not let them have that word because it's a general word. Like, it doesn't really have to have that kind of context.
Well, we did it once with Comicsgate, so maybe we can do it again with community. Repurpose it into a positive.
We're a group of people that supports each other. I would argue that that's by definition a community.
It gets a little wordy if we don't use the word community. We're a group of people that are like-minded.
Exactly. And network sounds a little too impersonal, I think.
Yeah, it's a little cold.
The Comicsgate network. It just doesn't quite have the same ring to it.
It does kind of sound cool, though. The Comicsgate network.
Yeah, maybe we can work that out. Exactly. I was just thinking that. Yeah, let me think here. I know I got a whole list of stuff, so it was kind of fun.
Yeah. I don't want to.
No.
I talk about tangents all the time, and I think on my channel I talk about like tangents are the best thing in life because tangents are where you find all the fun stuff.
Oh,
it's like in between point A and point D, you have all the tangents and the fun stuff.
No, that's the best part of it too. You get all these great stories that come out of this stuff. I was just thinking when you were talking about the portfolio reviews, you had looked through some of my stuff that I had done a while back, and it was really cool to get your feedback on how I could change the artwork and make adjustments and stuff. And I'm taking all of that to heart, and hopefully by the end of the year, when I have a chance, I should hopefully have a chance to work on my own book. I'm going to be implementing a lot of that stuff that you talked about, and see what I can do with it. It's just been really difficult to focus on any art because I've been pushing IndieCron so hard, and with the help of Jean-Luc Marcel and Dr. Wright, we've really been trying to just push to get people to really start adopting the use of IndieCron and getting people into upcoming and just trying to really build everything up. Because I think personally, IndieCron is going to be kind of the hub and the necessary focus moving forward to be able to get people to have successful campaigns.
Well, one, I just wanted to say that you definitely have potential as an artist, so keep that going. And the next thing, just to move the IndieCron idea forward, weren't you talking about a website as well? Like an official, like IndieCron or Comicsgate website, or was that something else that I heard through the grapevine?
Well, IndieCron is becoming kind of that type of system. So the upcoming system has all the books in it, and you'll be able to climb through it and find different books you want to look at, different information about the creators and things like that. So maybe that's it. I'm not sure. Although we do have incomics.com, which
I think that's what I was thinking of.
Yeah, like I thought, like with more entertainment, more like interviews, like where it was going to be kind of like a hub for like that. You know, I know that it is, you know, what it is now, but I thought we had talked, but maybe it was on another channel or something like that.
There was some discussion. I mean, there have been so many ideas thrown around about creating a like TV guide kind of system for the site, so that streamers and stuff can have like listings, basically. So you can see
that'd be so cool. Sorry,
but we don't have any plans for that at the moment, just because we're trying to push everything else. But there have been a couple people that have come forward and been like, "Hey, I'd love to build this. I'd love to build that." And I'm like, "Yeah, go for it, man. The more we can build up sites and stuff to push people towards these books, the better." And you know, having multiple people building up these little community type sites or things, it's only going to help grow the fan base and such.
Yeah, I just think I don't know, entertainment based, like you said, like, you know how entertainment would do article, or you mentioned TV Guide, where there would be articles every once in a while, and there would be exposés, and there could be different things that you could do entertainment wise, because I remember even TV Guide, when the Spider-Man movie came out, the first one with Tobey Maguire, we did Spider-Man covers for TV Guide. Yeah. And when X-Men came out, I think it was the first X-Men, Salvador LaRocca and Chris Claremont, we did an X-Men 8-page comic book that they put into the TV Guide. So there's all kinds of that kind of potential. I guess that's where I was kind of going, and your TV Guide analogy, I think, is pretty good.
You know, it would be cool, like if the site was like a hub for just like everything's Comicsgate, if there was like a news section where like, you know, like every week there's something on not to like not to call them out, but on some of these blogging sites that are just like kind of totally fabricated stories, and just be like, here's the real story, and just have like an actual true telling of something that like comic book resources would tell or something.
Yeah, let's cut through the BS. Like,
here's the video that they're citing where they said something racist happened. Here's the exact section where you can see that it's not.
But anyway, Pixel, you can see, like, we're creative people, so we're actually hijacking your IndieCron idea right now. We're turning it into our own thing.
Well, I was kind of being a little vague in my answer, because there have been some hints that have been kind of bounced around a little bit here and there. You're kind of hinting at like a wizard type thing if you really think about it, where you've got stories and news and information and things like that. And I cannot confirm nor deny that something like that is in the works.
Oh no, did we spoil stuff inadvertently?
No. But
well, that's my middle name. Art, spoiler alert, T-Bear.
I've talked to a number of artists, and I've talked to a few people that have had similar ideas. There's been a lot of stuff about video channels doing something similar. And Andrew Huerta, actually, he was one of the people that had an idea for a video channel to do a kind of a wizard type thing as like a YouTube type show. But he's so busy with his book and stuff, he hasn't really gone much further with that. However, there's a lot of different channels that are doing something similar. You've got the Fanspeak guys that do their daily show about news. A lot of that information is pulled from like Bleeding Cool, Bleeding Fool, and
but also those guys could brand like their name into the magazine. So if it is a magazine, then you could actually brand it with their brand already. You know what I mean? Where they would just step in and plug it into whatever template, like the IndieCron template or whatever that's going to be in the future. So it can be, all those things.
Yeah, absolutely. It's funny that you mentioned that because so this name that I've been batting around for a while is Insider. And we've been talking about a little bit about this where we could have some information. I can't really go too far into it because it's still in the fledgling phase. I'm not going to be able to give too many details on it. But
You heard it here first, people.
But yeah, but we've got some ideas going, but there's a lot of stuff we have to do first. First things first, we have to get in comics off the ground. We have artists or we have writers and stuff that we're working with. We have artists that have come to us already to get some books going. We've got a number of titles already in the works, a couple of which will actually show up on upcoming once we launch it. So
Nice.
That's going to be where we debut a lot of the stuff. It's yeah, from like the last time we talked 2 months ago, where I was still just working on IndieCron solo, to where I am now, where I've got 2 people working with me, and we're just pushing and pushing and coming up with all these ideas. It's kind of exploded. It's been a little overwhelming, but in a really good way.
That's awesome.
Well, welcome to all of our worlds, right?
Oh, I know.
Because we're all, like I said at the very beginning, we're all working outside of our wheelhouse right now. So it's like you said, it's fun, it's exhilarating, but at the same time, like it's daunting and a lot of work.
I think we said before, Art, like the way we describe our schedule is like you work all week and then on your days off you work, but with more leisurely, like a more leisurely pace.
It's like, I'm going to work on things I want to work on this weekend.
Or it's like, now I won't start working till like 12. Get a little break in between.
Yeah, I'll sleep in for an extra hour. Like the best thing, I don't know if you guys are like me, where I always feel like I have to get up at a certain time else I feel guilty and lazy. And so yesterday, the first official day of 2019, I slept in an extra hour. Yep, I slept in an extra hour.
What a slacker.
I know, right? And I felt bad all day.
That's awesome. My girlfriend is actually one of those people that's like that. She has to be up at 5:30 or 6 every day. Otherwise, she feels like she's wasting time. So it doesn't matter if I've gone to bed at 3 a.m. from working on IndieCron or not. I'm up at like 5:30 or 6.
Yeah, oh my gosh.
Yeah,
she'll give you that nice elbow, right? Like, get up.
Yeah, get up. What are you doing? You're wasting time. Like, oh my God, come on, just give me a break here. I just.
But is she chipper or grumpy?
Depends on what side of the bed she's on, I think.
Because if she's chipper at like 5, that's really impressive.
Sometimes she can be. Most of the time, she's a little annoyed with the alarm clock too, but she'll get up and go. So
That's cool.
Yeah, it's weird. I've always been a night owl, and I think I do my best work at night. So a lot of times, when my day job that I have, I actually will sometimes spend the morning doing just personal stuff and everything, and then start working in the afternoon.
Yeah, I feel like the day is just a warm up to my nighttime.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm just easing into about like 5, 6, and then I'm firing on all cylinders at that point. And then I look at the clock. It's like, oh man, I only have 5 hours before get to bed. It took me all day to get going here. Yeah, well, we're having fun here. Tangent. Let's get back into IndieCron and get back into all this cool stuff.
And by the way, you guys, check out the current iteration of IndieCron right now at IndieCron.com, and it's also linked in the description underneath the link to Black and White, which is of course in demand on Indiegogo right now.
Yes.
Yeah. How close are you guys to your next stretch goal?
Are we 2? We're like 1,700, 16. A little over 1,600 away.
Okay.
Yeah.
We'll have to take a look at the site and see if anything changes.
And that's
midway through this.
That's the 50,000 K stretch goal. Oh man, we got to knock Stealing Solo. That's our obstacle right now. The Captain Parody.
Oh man, and they're close, so you got a chance.
Oh my gosh, you're so close.
Jeff Hicks, you're going down.
We could catch up because we're still in demand, and I think that they're completely closed out.
Yeah, I thought. Oh, are they? Good.
I've got some good news for you, at least. When the next iteration of the site goes live, the front page will actually only have campaigns that are currently active.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
So the first table that you see will only be open campaigns or in demand. So
Wait a minute. If we did that, let's figure out where we would be on the top 5. All
Oh
right.
my
All right.
gosh.
Let's take Cyber Frog out. Let's take Jawbreakers out.
Cyberfrog had its chance.
Let's take Graveyard Shift out.
Oh my gosh.
So that's 3 books. So yeah, we would definitely be like like 7 or 8 in the top 10.
Yeah, you can take Ironsides out too.
Ooh.
Because they're closed. They're in fulfillment at this point.
In fulfillment, yeah.
Wait, so then number 1 would be Lone Star?
On that list, yes. We're still going to have a top list. So it'll be the all-time list. So people can go and bookmark that if they want to, which will have every campaign
No,
in it.
Lone Star wouldn't be the top. It would be Red Rooster would be number 1.
Oh, you're right.
Oh, I forgot Red Rooster's still in demand.
Yeah, and then Doug's book, and then Lone Star, and then Graveyard Shift.
Graveyard Shift closed.
Did it? Oh, that's right. Then it would be okay. Then it would be Lone Star. Then it would be
Brand.
Yeah, then it would be Brand. Then it would
us.
be baby. Let's do this now.
Well, actually, go up to the top real quick.
Okay.
And then click on status.
Where's status?
Where is it?
Okay, right in the yellow bar right there.
Yeah, click on that guy.
Okay.
And that actually click it one more time. Sorry, let me see what'll happen here. It should have closed. Scroll down now.
Okay.
Closed. Let's see.
Closed. Oh, it does change it.
These are all the closed books.
Yeah, these are all the closed books.
Yeah, I think it might sort by number. I can't recall now. I had some issues with sorting, so it may not work exactly the way I wanted it to. But once you get down past the closed books, you should have you guys listed in there.
Okay. Close. In demand. Okay. Oh, here it is then.
Yes, the true order.
Yes.
Jimmy
this.
wants.
I'm gonna take like a screen cap of this and put it up.
There you go.
Jimmy in the chat wants to know, when is the update going live on the site?
We're still working on some of the changes right now. So originally we were going to put it out probably, I think it was around the 7th. At the moment, we're pushing it back towards the end of January. At this point, we're trying to get some of the more other creators have reached out to us, said, hey, we're not quite ready, but we would like to launch when upcoming launches with you. So we're working with them right now to get their pages into the system, get all the creator profiles in and stuff. So it's just taking a little bit longer to organize everybody. But we are still planning to launch, hopefully this month.
Yeah.
Let's
we
see.
just have to remind everybody that actually look at the screen. Black and white is in the top 5.
There you go.
I'm sorry, I'm still reveling in it. Yes.
I want to be number 4.
A Brand is going to be a tall order, my friend.
Come on, you guys, new goal for 2019.
So, speaking of upcoming, what do you guys got going on in the next few months?
Well, let's thank you for asking, but let's back up and let's keep talking about IndieCron because we don't have you very often on the show. So
no, that's fine.
I know we're derailing everything, but that's kind of what I do.
It's the tone of the channel.
Yeah. Oh gosh, what else can I talk about? There's still a lot of things that are happening here in the background. So the other thing that we had kind of teased is a resource center for campaigns. So when you come into the site, you'll be able to get information about printers, about fulfillment, things like that. And part of the stuff that we're doing through IndieCron, and this is one of the big things and one of the reasons why we wanted to get the whole upcoming section going. If there are a few creators out there that are just completely overwhelmed with this process of finding printers, doing the fulfillment, things like that. We are currently researching a lot of stuff about the printing, how to lower the cost for that, how to handle the fulfillment portion of this. And the best part about this is that we've discovered through our communication with these guys that we can combine print runs with multiple books. As long as they use the same quality paper and the same print materials and all that kind of stuff, we can actually combine those runs and reduce the cost for all these books that are currently being printed.
Wait, how does that work? Like different creators' books, they can collab on a.
Well, you're bringing volume. Well, I should let you answer, but
you hit it. So we'd be able, as long as the creators agree to it and they want to work with us, what we would be able to do is coordinate the print runs for multiple books that are going to the print at the same time. So if they're ready to go and we're able to do it, a lot of times it's going to take some work here to be able to coordinate everybody, and not every book is going to be able to do this. But a print run of 10,000 copies of a book is a lot cheaper than 200 or 300 or 1,000 copies. So it's volume, and if you're able to get enough books together, you can drastically reduce the cost of the books to be printed. And then when you go to fulfillment, we've been looking at a couple different companies out there, and we've found a few that are fairly cheap. There's some hiccups and stuff we'll have to work out with them still, but it's looking very favorable.
So the reason, even though they're different titles that you're bringing to the printer, they'll still cut you possibly a deal just because of the volume that you have bringing into the business that you're bringing. And I think what Image has too with the printers they use is they have a line of credit too, which helps them, so they don't have to put all the money up front, and they can basically have more liquid funds that they can use as well. So I know that some printers will extend lines of credit as well.
Interesting.
There are some key costs that are kind of baked in and are constant. Where you've got the plates that have to be created for each page, that kind of thing. Yeah. That stuff you can't really get away from. But the actual cost of running the comics themselves, you can knock that down quite a bit just by combining. And at first, we weren't sure we could actually do that. And we talked to them a bit more about it, and it turns out that you can. They just have to all be printed on the same material. And like the pages, I don't think the page counts have to be the same.
I would imagine they cut you slack because once they set up the presses to run a certain size and shape and type of book, then they can just keep it set the same, even though they might be printing a different comic book, but the printer itself will be set up. You know what I mean? So they can just kind of change the plates and just run another book as long, because in the printer itself, all the it's set for that certain size of paper and shape and all that other stuff. So, maybe that has something to do with it. The screen just moved. Does that mean it just
refreshed?
Refreshed? Oh,
it refreshed. One of the things I'm trying to work on, which I haven't done yet, is to be able to make that happen without refreshing the entire site. I've just been busy working on other features, but eventually what I'd like to do is it'll just update the numbers on the fly. But that's just not how the system currently works. It'll actually refresh the page about every 5 minutes. And then you'll be able to see where you're at.
No, it was just interesting that it just flickered that way. So it was kind of cool for people to see, so they know that this thing is, up to date. I mean, this is round the clock constantly. So every what does it update every? How many minutes you said?
So the page itself refreshes about every 5 minutes, I believe, is what I have it set at. The actual backend system goes out to IndieGoGo every 10 minutes and pulls all the data.
Oh my gosh! So this is as current as you could possibly get.
Yeah, the only thing closer, like if you've got a campaign that just launched and we'll say you're on EVS's stream or something, or you've got a really big push suddenly, you're going to want to look at the campaign page itself to see those numbers roll up immediately. But if you're just looking at a day-to-day, where am I at? How are things going? You can pull the site up, leave it on your screen or whatever, and just let it flash and be able to see where you're at.
This is
very cool.
Awesome. This is very awesome. Yeah. So what else do we got?
So upcoming, I talked a little bit about that and how we wanted to get it in there, but I may not have talked about exactly how that system works as far as people are going here. So at the top of the site currently, there's a banner that shows the next ending book. So we have Hero here that's going to be ending in about 2 days, 10 hours. What we're planning on doing is expanding this area too. So there's going to be a rotation of more than just one book. You'll have information probably about the next couple of books that are ending, maybe one of the books that has just recently been added to the list. But we're also adding a whole new bar here, which is going to show a good portion of the upcoming books. It'll be a rotating banner as well. So we're getting those books right out on the front page. So as soon as somebody comes in, they can see, oh, hey, that book's coming out soon. Or they may see a cover that just catches their eye, just like when you walk into the LCS. We want to be able to start catching people's eyes immediately.
That is a great idea.
The chat wants to know, how would a fulfillment work with stretch goals with additional add-on items? I guess regarding the print thing you're talking about. I'm assuming creators would handle that separately unless you plan on having resources for typical add-on items like cards and stuff. I don't know how you would do that.
So a lot of that stuff, unless you've already got it local to you, like I know you guys had the ash cans and stuff like that. Most of the items that you buy for like the pat, like you have that stretch goal for the patch, you have the buttons, things like that. You have to order those from somebody anyway. So if you have those ordered and then drop shipped to your fulfillment center, you can actually have those fulfillment centers hold your stock for you until everything arrives, and then do the processing once everything's ready to go. I mean, there are additional costs worked in with storing stuff for a certain amount of time, so it's all based on how much space this stuff takes up. But if you do it correctly and you get everything timed just right, you can have all that stuff sit in that location for a short amount of time, and they will process every bit of it. Signatures and things like that run into a different issue because you've got to either go to the fulfillment center to sign all your books, or you got to get them sent to you first to sign them all and then send them to fulfillment. There's a lot of different ways you can handle that. But one thing I noticed too is a lot of people have started saying they don't really necessarily care if the book is signed. They would rather have it signed in person. So that may be a situation in the future. I haven't really talked too much to people about that portion of it, but it's hard to say for sure. But I would love to see at least people getting their stuff out to people in a concise and easy manner as much as possible. And we're just trying to help people fulfill that.
Yeah. So one of the things that I thought was a cool perk of these Indiegogos is that you could have access to somebody sign them, because a lot of us, we're not on the road constantly. So it would be hard to get some of these signatures. So I always thought it was a perk, but now that you brought it up, Taylor and I had been talking about possibly having 2 tiers for volume 2 of Black and White, where we have one. We give the option of getting an unsigned and a signed version of the book as well, at 2 different tier prices. So the signature would obviously be more, more money to get the signature, but then the lower, would be just the book itself. So do you think that would be something that maybe people are looking more forward to?
I don't know. I haven't really checked too many of the campaigns to see how that's going. I just remember recently talking to a few people about it, and there wasn't so much concern about the signatures as a lot of some people have made a big deal about signatures, but I don't recall there being like a huge push. Like if it was a difference in money, maybe. Now that also brings up an interesting point too about fulfillment, where it might be possible for you to split your prints. So half your prints go to the fulfillment center, the other half go to you, so you can sign those and then get them over to printing, but that may increase your costs. It's hard to really say for sure. That's stuff that still has to be worked out.
Yeah, I think it would definitely increase your shipping costs.
Yeah,
to do it that way.
Yeah, and it's really, I don't know if it completely doubles it or if it's just a minor change. That's something we haven't really addressed with the fulfillment companies and the printers yet. But again, we just started the process of talking with them. Still trying to work out all the kinks there.
Yeah,
I think one of the bigger things that I haven't talked about yet that I actually forgot about, we got approached by Indiegogo, and they are actually very interested in upcoming and the books that are coming up on upcoming. And they want to help the creators start pushing their books and promoting campaigns that are doing really well. They would really like to help people make their campaigns successful.
Yeah, I like that idea. That's amazing.
And that was huge. That caught us off guard. It was right before the holidays. And we're like, wow, okay. And it was a pretty big guy within Indiegogo that reached out to us. And he was really impressed with the way things were going and wants to help these books really make it. So it's kind of nice to know that, the guys that we're using and we're working with are looking at us and watching what we're doing, and they're excited about it.
Yeah, well, success breeds success, right? So the more success these books have, then the more people are going to come into this.
Absolutely.
So that's great.
Yeah, I think it makes a very big difference. And I think Indiegogo, they're starting to take notice of this stuff, just because I didn't even use Indiegogo before there were major comic stuff on there. Like it kind of has a big reputation now, but at the time, Kickstarter was the place to be.
Yeah.
Yeah, we've talked to a couple of our indie compadres that we started hanging out with through Kickstarter and things like that, and we've been in a lot of conversations about Indiegogo, and some of them are coming over, and I think they're just dipping their toes in. They're not doing major campaigns, but they're doing continuations of their campaigns and just small little, what do they call that? Like just like small little vanity press runs and things like that.
Testing the waters.
Yeah, they're just testing the waters right now because Indiegogo doesn't quite have the name of that Kickstarter has, but I think it's a superior platform having used both. It is a superior, at least for what we want out of it, a superior platform.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah, and also I think what's cool about it from all of our standpoint is it's still kind of it's still young. It's not built up as big as Kickstarter. So I think you have, at least at this moment in time, you have more of a chance to shine because the competition, and it doesn't have quite as much traffic, I guess, or as many books.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's actually a really good thing. I just had happen this weekend. My kid just came home from his mom's place and had this sketchbook in his hand and was like, "Hey, Dad, check this out." And I go, "Okay, what is this?" And I look at it. It's Gary Shipman's book.
Oh, cool.
That's awesome.
And I'm all, "How did you get this?" "Oh, my stepdad bought it for me." I'm like, "Do you know where this came from?" And he's all, "No." I go, "Gary's a comic skater." Because my son knows about Comicsgate. We've discussed quite a bit about the stuff, but he had no idea. He was completely blown away by it. And I was just like, wow, this is really cool. I wanted to get the book and I missed out on it. So now I've got it technically.
Have him over more so you can read it.
Right. Yeah, well, he's with me for the next 2 weeks, so I'm definitely going to read through the book. But the cards came out really well. The print quality was excellent. Gary did a really good job with that book. But it was just funny because the stepdad's a total normie. He's not really into the comic books and stuff, but he knew that my son liked comics and liked art, and just happened to find it on Indiegogo. I don't think that would have happened on Kickstarter.
Yeah, that definitely shows like it has a way bigger reach than I think people realize.
Yeah.
Well, that's what we're hoping, to build this thing up. And I don't know, is this arrogance to say that I think as far as comic book projects on Indiegogo, pretty much Comicsgate is dominating?
I think that's a safe thing to say. Like when you go on there, most, if not all, the top books are related to Comicsgate.
It seems that way for sure. Or at least the high earners, definitely. There's a number of books on there that decided not to go the Comicsgate route or aren't listed on IndieCron, but for the most part, the quality books, the big books and stuff have all come over to IndieCron and have been doing really well on Indiegogo.
How are you finding out that that a book is publishing or has the Comicsgate mindset? How do you find that out? Do they contact you, or how are they, you know what I mean? How are they letting you know that?
Sure. So as a policy of mine early on, because of the fact that Comicsgate is kind of controversial and some artists and stuff may not understand the ramifications of being listed on our site, I opted not to put them on there without their permission. So a lot of times these books come to us, they've heard about IndieCron, but even more so, it's people. We've got a lot of people that follow us on Twitter, and a lot of people that use the site regularly that find books, and they're like, "Hey, have you checked out IndieCron? Do you know about IndieCron? Do you want to go check? You should go look at IndieCron. They help books out. Blah blah blah." There's a lot of people that are pointing people our way, and that's basically how we source a lot of these books.
Okay.
And
that's very cool.
Yeah, at that point, usually it used to be that they had to hit me up via Twitter DM and say, "Hey, I got my book," and I would drop them a huge pile of text saying, "Here's the kind of disclaimer information and stuff." Now it's all through the forums. So when you click on submit your campaign, it'll actually take you to a form page.
Yeah, that's good. The disclaimer is good. I wish we didn't have to do those things, but I'm finding more and more that we're having to do those things as well. In the conversation, you have to say, well, if you hang out with us, this could potentially happen.
Yeah.
And we found out, I'm not going to name any names, but some big name talent that we had attached to Black and White early on, that they thought they understood, Comicsgate, but then once they got involved and stuff, let's just say the heat got turned up. And they had to back out. And I don't blame anybody. I don't. And I wouldn't be here if my mindset wasn't, you know, here as well. Like my beliefs pretty much mirror, you know, not 100%, but pretty much mirror everybody here. And I do admire everybody's stick-to-itiveness to try to do something a little outside the box. It seems weird to say outside the box because usually you think like something absolutely crazy, but this seems like it's just kind of like outside the box is just trying to normalize the industry.
We live in a very strange time, don't we?
Yeah.
Doing something absolutely crazy like a superhero story. It's
Ooh.
off the wall.
There's no politics involved. There's no gender politics. Yeah.
What a madman.
Oh, no. You know, we just want to come over here and make some stories that we enjoy, that aren't preachy, you know, that people will just be able to connect with and not feel like they're being preached at and beaten down for enjoying.
Yeah.
And it's unfortunate that we even have to do that. But
yeah,
it's even more so that we're being attacked after we've said, okay, that's fine, we're going to go over here and play. And they follow us over here, and now they're throwing rocks in our direction. So
yeah, it's weird to think. It's weird to think that that's a revolutionary idea. Like, you know, I've been doing this for 35 years. I've never seen such craziness before in my life. I just figured, and the thing is, I was going to say, you know, that maybe things are changing, but I think that the sales, like the mainstream sales, I don't want to go off too much on a tangent. We should try to wrap this up soon. But, you know, when you see the mainstream sales, like the Marvel and DC sales, they are reflecting, and I think people's tastes are, because of the sales being down, that we're seeing that the people's tastes are more towards like what we're doing, you know, just basically kind of normal comic books, you know, what people think of as good action adventure.
Yeah, totally. There was a point where I closed my pull list. I just got tired of the books. It was right before I really got involved with Comicsgate. I had one or two titles that I'd pull, and still from time to time I'll go into my LCS and pick up a book off the shelf. But really, for the most part, I wasn't buying anything anymore because either the artwork was absolutely terrible or the writing just didn't do it for me, or like you said, you know, the politics bled through and became so much of a put off that I just didn't want to read them anymore.
Yeah, it becomes invasive, and it feels like I don't think anybody truly wants to be preached at. And I think even if you're buying those books and subliminally, like subconsciously, you're picking up on it after, you know, I don't know, 3, 4, 5, 6 issues of it, you start realizing that there's an agenda here because you see a pattern. And then, you know, like even if you had the benefit of the doubt, at some point you're like, no, I don't want this. An individual storyline that's maybe dealing with some of this stuff, or like a specific publishing line, or, you know, like, but this is not, it wasn't the exception anymore. It was kind of becoming the norm. And I think that's where the backlash was coming from, at least from my point of view.
Yeah, I would agree. That's kind of my point of view too. You know, it gets twisted. People are saying, oh, there's, you know, all these different reasons, but ultimately it just comes down to we're not enjoying the books, and people are doing things to our characters that we loved, and they could have created new characters.
Yeah.
So, you know, IndieCron and Comicsgate in general, we're committed to saving the industry through our sales and through making books that people actually want to read.
Hear, hear.
The more that we can do to help these books be successful, the better off everybody is.
Agreed.
Hail Pixel Trader.
Hail to the Cron.
Hail to the Cron. I like that.
I'm trademarking that.
TM. Yeah, well, was there anything else that you wanted to add? We should kind of start wrapping this up a little bit.
No, I think we hit pretty much most of it. I think the only other thing I was going to talk about too is, you know, people have hit us up and said, how are you making money on the site? How are you planning on monetizing this? And for the most part, we made this kind of a project out of love. You know, I made this not expecting to get paid for this, but to help the community. And based on the numbers that I've seen from Indiegogo, from referral stats and stuff, I've helped the community make more than $20,000. I wasn't tracking stats for Cyberfrog and some of the early books initially, so those numbers could be greatly higher. But from the books that I did track after that point, it's at least $20K that I've helped the community make. And so I feel really proud about that.
That's amazing.
And thank you so much. Yeah, there's people like you and even Edwin and Christ Energetics, because he did the music for the Black and White Indiegogo page, like all that music, and he just did it. Like,
and a Lone Star as well.
That's right. Yeah, and God, I like I said, 35 years, I've never seen this kind of generosity. So I know I say thanks a lot, but I really, really do appreciate, because I understand how competitive this market is and how competitive artists and writers usually are, and this is pretty amazing that the fan base are actually helping and actively helping build this community.
It just rolls off the tongue,
We
right?
know what it is.
So it's pretty amazing. Like I said, this is once in a lifetime. I pinch myself every day. I cannot believe that this is actually happening, and that the books are selling as well as they are, and that the community and the fan base is supporting it to the extent that they are, and people like yourself. So thanks again. And if anybody hasn't checked out IndieCron, go check it out. It updates all the time, lets you know the new books coming out, the books that are in demand, just everything, and all the stats are here. So it's kind of like if you liked sports trading cards, where they would have the stats on the back of the trading card. That's what this whole site is for every one of the Comicsgate books. So it's a lot of fun. And Pixel was nice enough to share some of the future plans for this site. So it sounds like this thing is going to take off, and it's going to be bigger and bombastic in this coming year. So more power to you, Pixel, and I hope everybody's going to get out and support this stuff, support these books. Do we want to get into anything, Taylor, as our parting shot, and then we can let
let's take a glance at the our Indiegogo and see where we're at.
Is that okay, Pixel, if we check ours?
Go right ahead.
All right, here we are.
There she is. Might need to refresh, but I think. Let's see.
Yeah, we're the same.
48,312. That's nothing to shake a stick at.
Yeah, 887 people, backers. And for you guys that don't know, this is the big announcement. We have this bad boy right here. And this is going to be an embroidered patch, a shoulder patch. It's going to be available at 51K. And so we're really close. We're just a couple grand, little over, well, close to $3,000, I guess, to hitting it. And Taylor, you want to give a little backstory about the patch and how it's used in the story? And
yeah, if you guys read our latest update, which I always recommend, can you guys hear me? I'm trying to move this mic. It seems like it's a little quiet. Anyway, this is not just a patch, but it's also kind of a prop from the Black and White world. This is the MI10 patch. And MI10 is, of course, the specialty division of the British Secret Service. MI6. MI10 is the anti-robotics division, which is tasked with taking down illegal AI and kind of fighting robots. And when you have this patch, you kind of have a functional prop. You look like you're a part of the MI10. You get to show the world where you stand against, the fight against evil robots. And it plays a role in the story. I think it's a really cool one. We've wanted this patch for a while. I think people, if you guys have been following our channel for a while, we've kind of talked about this patch on and off in some of the live streams. I forget which one it was, but there's like an exact live stream where I think we came up with this idea just from like talking with the chat and stuff. And Art had some sketches of an early concept for this patch, several concepts of this patch, and we kind of refined it together and put this out. And this is the official MI10 Anti-Robotics Task Force patch. It's very cool. We can get it at a 51K. I really, really want us to get this because I think it'd be awesome to have. And it's a pretty cool collectible, but it's also something that wouldn't happen without you guys, and it's something that I think will represent this campaign very well when we reach that. So I
Like
think
you
it's
said,
pretty neat.
it's a tangible prop. It's not like it is a collectible, but it's not like a trading card or, or a pog or something like that. It's a tangible prop. Like these are used by the characters. The characters have these patches.
Yeah, you will see it in the story.
Yeah, so I think it's very cool. And like Taylor said, we could only even think about doing this with the success that we have, because you can't launch something like this early on because it's too inside. It's too I guess character specific, and now that you guys are familiar with it, I think the time is right to do this. So it would be great to get to that, so we can get these into your hands. So that'd be very cool. And if you guys don't know, it was a very rough design by me. One of these days I'll show you my thumbnail, but Taylor polished the heck out of this thing. So she did all the graphics and stuff like that. So she's a very, very talented individual here. So
Thank you. It was a collaboration. I hope you guys think it's cool, because I think it's really cool. I want that patch, you guys. I'm not going to lie.
Yeah, that was cool.
I'm going to sew it on every jacket I own.
I have like a designated jacket already. I want to put it on. Don't let me down. And don't let yourselves down.
You said you're going to put it on your backpack too, right?
I probably put it on my backpack. Yeah.
Nice.
But yeah, that's our latest one, and you guys should totally check it out. We're gonna do an update at some point with kind of some major announcements about the future of the campaign and stuff. So stay tuned for that. I didn't know if we wanted to drop that yet, Art.
No, but we did talk about giving Pixel an exclusive, so we'll talk off the air, and we'll. I think on IndieCron we're going to have an exclusive Hack Shack Studios announcement about a project coming out in February. So
that'd be awesome.
So there's a tease right there. So let me stop sharing this. And go
we
back.
got also in the chat. DeWolf says, "Great pitch, Pixel," and we got. Let's see. Nick says, IndieCron is an essential asset to the Comicsgate community. Thanks, Pixel. I agree.
Aw,
thanks.
Make me blush over here.
Thanks for IndieCron, Pixel. It is an incredible asset to the community. It really is. And I look forward to the next incarnation.
Yeah, the guys have been working really hard behind the scenes to promote everything. Luke and Dr. Wright have really put their heart and soul into it, and all three of us have been putting a lot of hours into promotion and just scheming, like what we're going to do next and how we can get in front of more people. So.
Well, I'm going to put a little pressure on you because this intrigues me too. Your publishing division. Mm-hmm. When are you thinking a tentative date for that?
For actually opening up to be able to print books, things like that, or
yeah, because you were talking about your own line of comic books, right?
Right. So our own line of books, we're going to be announcing those around the same time we launch Upcoming. So we'll have the books ready to go, or at least we'll have the basics of the campaigns ready to go. So we can announce what the books are going to be, what their elevator pitch is, have some basic art for the books, and so that'll all be rolled into the launch of Upcoming.
So definitely this year, right?
Definitely within the next month or two, tops.
Oh,
we'll get those started. Now, the campaigns themselves probably won't start immediately, probably not until February or March for at least one or two books. I really can't speak for the guys yet because I don't know where exactly they are in the process, but art has already been started on them. So we are definitely moving forward with it.
Nice.
Yeah, it's going to be big once it hits, though. The art, from what I've seen so far, looks amazing. And I want to get my own book going, but it's kind of funny when you were talking about the MI10 stuff. I kept thinking, we talked about my book a little while back, the story about the guy that gets the AI robot kind of merged with him, where he's a criminal, but the robot only wants to do good.
That's right.
Yeah, it would be kind of interesting if MI10 was to somehow be alerted to his presence, but I don't know if that would work too well for the universe, but it's
crossover.
Yeah, hey, I'm open to everything because I think this is the fun aspect of what we're doing right now. So yeah, throw me an email and we'll talk.
Okay, yeah. Worst case scenario, I'll just work you guys into the book somewhere like behind the scenes. You can be running from an explosion like in Spider-Man.
You already have my caricature here.
Oh no, Art. Never Cold wants. Rhaegar wants to know when we're doing the Aquaman review.
Oh gosh, go ahead, Taylor. This will be our parting shot. Taylor's rant about
okay.
our review.
Well, funny you should mention Aquaman because, as you guys may or may not know, by the way, welcome to the new people who just arrived. You're a little late in the game. After this, be sure to refresh this video and watch the whole thing. Maybe watch our old interview with Pixel Trader. I don't know. We got a big channel. Check out everything. Anyway,
there's stuff happening here.
We're monetized, as you can see. We also have super chat if you want to shoot us $5 to get a lump of coal for this fireplace I'm sitting in front of right now. But
oh yeah. Well, now we have to. As a side note, the downstairs heating broke, and Pixel's in Southern California as well, and it's actually getting a little cold out here. And we're north of him, so it's even colder here. So the downstairs all nice and toasty, and downstairs, like I said, I have a heating blanket on me, and Taylor's in front of the fireplace in the other room.
Send us a super chat that says ho ho ho. We'll buy a lump of coal with the money.
We'll burn some coal. Yeah.
Anyway,
in our hibachi.
Is that healthy?
No.
Yeah, just turn the fan on. You'll be all right.
Let's find out.
Turn the fan. Open some windows, defeat the whole purpose. But
right. So we got monetized, and as a lot of you know who have been tuning in regularly, we do like reaction videos to trailers, and we also do a thing called Versus, where if there's two movies kind of in the same vein, and we don't just do movies, we're trying to kind of branch out, but in this case we had two movies facing off against each other, and then the chat kind of voted on which movie they would see if push came to shove. Like if you got a free ticket, which movie you'd pick, and then we pick which movie we would pick individually, and the video was Aquaman versus Captain Marvel. And it was a good, it was a good live stream. We had a lot of fun, but unfortunately, we had to pull it down because Warner Brothers, I guess, got angry that there was like 20 seconds of the trailer that we didn't talk over. And they decided to let us keep our video up, but then they wanted to monetize ads on it, so we would make nothing from the video.
But they would.
But they would, yeah. So they would have the money from our ads that were up during that video. So rather than let them have that, because why? We had to take it down.
Because we're principled.
We had to take it down because then, like, the thing is, like, even though it was explained that this was our reaction to a trailer and it was our commentary, anybody watching the trailer wasn't watching it to see the Aquaman trailer. It was to see our thoughts on it. But they hit us with it, and the only other way to appeal was if we appealed, we would get some of the ad revenue, but if we lost, they would take the video down. We get a strike on our channel, so we just decided to take it down. So sorry if you guys missed that video. It'll be sorely missed, but at the same time, I don't want Warner Brothers to get their grubby mitts on it.
Yeah.
Or YouTube making money for ads. Yeah. So it's a principled thing, but I guess this is standard stuff, but we're, like I said, learning curve. So we're learning this stuff. So yeah, that video is no longer in existence.
Never Cold says fair use. Yeah, that's the thing. We applied and we explained that it was fair use, but I guess, the big company got the final say over us.
Well, the thing is, if we were to fight it any further, then it could end where we would get a strike against the channel, and it's better just to pull the video down than even go to that point, because the thing is, we don't have any control over this. They could arbitrarily do anything they want, so I think it's better just to err on the side of caution, which is what we did.
Yeah, exactly.
And the strike would actually hurt you too, because you wouldn't be able to stream for a little while.
Yeah, that's why we didn't want to risk it.
Yeah.
So that's the nature of the game, but yeah.
By the way,
it was a good video though. I was proud.
What was the result of that video? I remember. What did we end up having the results of?
You're gonna make me say it, aren't you?
Maybe.
You want to hurt me here. I think, if I remember right, I think I said I chose maybe Captain Marvel over Aquaman. Did you hear Pixel? He was like, ooh.
Keep that in mind, you guys.
And the only reason I did is because those underwater, from the trailer, we're basing this all on.
Yeah.
The underwater stuff in the Aquaman trailer looks absolutely horrible to me.
It does.
It looks like bad, like video game CGI. But I will admit to everybody before they start crucifying me on this thread, what's her name? The actress that plays Captain Marvel.
Brie Larson.
Brie Larson looks absolutely horrible. I will not defend her. And my hopes are that it's going to be a bigger movie than her. I want to see the Skrulls and the Kree. I want to see all that. And I'm hoping that it becomes a Nick Fury movie. I'm just hoping that, because the first trailer, it looked like it was really focused on Nick Fury. So I'm hoping it becomes kind of more of a Nick Fury movie than an actual Captain Marvel movie. But
we got to do the rematch video for sure once Captain Marvel is out. TC says, I changed my vote retroactively based on these events. I'm with Art on Captain Marvel.
Whoa, yes. It's my charisma. It's reeking through. It's getting through everybody. It's a convincing argument. And like, look at my icon right now. It's mesmerizing.
How much you want to bet that that Fury loses his eye in this movie?
Oh, I think the cat's gonna scratch his eye out.
No,
I think the cat is a which one of the shape changers? The Skrull, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I think it's a Skrull.
Yeah.
I think that cat is a Skrull, and it's going to change. It's going to scrape his eye out. Yes.
Oh gosh, he'll definitely lose an eye, but I hope it's not that way. I'm gonna laugh for 1,000 years if it is.
The only reason I'm kind of thinking maybe not is because that's a nasty ass cut across him. But I'm thinking that maybe the Skrull is kind of transforming from cat to Skrull as it lashes out on Fury.
Yeah.
Does it have, what does the scar look like? Is it like 3 slashes or is it like one big?
It's one nasty scratch. It's not even, it's like, this probably ate into the skin. Like, it's a really nasty, yeah, it looks like almost like, not even like a slash. It looks like somebody embedded something into his head. Yeah, it's
intriguing.
Pretty deep. Yeah, it looked deep.
Rhaegar says Aquaman did 1 billion. Captain Marvel might do 600K. Aquaman did $1 billion
worldwide. Yeah.
Mamma mia.
Oh my. Yeah. Yeah. Abba lives. Yeah. I don't know, man. I more power to him. I haven't seen the movie yet, and I think Jason Momoa is amazing. We're turning this into a versus right now. Jason Momoa is awesome, and I don't know. I mean, it could end up being a better movie, but that's just the way it went down.
Only time will tell. We'll have to do our recap video once Captain Marvel is out, and then we'll figure out who the true winner is, and hopefully Warner Brothers won't take it away from us.
I'll have to kiss a lot of Aquaman supporters' butt. Smooch, pucker up, Buttercup. All right. Well, Pixel, you want anything other than your IndieCron? Do you have parting shot?
Yeah. I mean, they can find me on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube at Pixel Traitor. But most of my work lately has been focused on IndieCron, just trying to get that pulled together and help the community as best I can. And with the help of the guys, just, pushing as much as we can to get these creators lifted up.
Well, you have my full support. Anything you need in the future, just let us know.
Oh, thank you. Absolutely. Well, I'll be hitting you up for sure. There's a few things to talk about.
Yes. Always.
So Taylor, you wanna get us out?
Yes, so don't forget to check out IndieCron in its current incarnation. You can find the link in the description. And above that, you will find a link to Black and White, which is still available in demand for now. Get the book while you can. Help us get to that 51K and get us all the physical backers that anti-robotics MI10 patch. Show where you stand in the fight against the bots. Check out the latest update for news. Most of the tiers are still available. You can still get the ultimate tier, which gives you all the basically all the main physical items except for the 90s. I think we still have 90s tiers. You guys can get that stuff, and that stuff's very limited, so get on it fast. Thanks for joining us in the chat, and don't forget to like this video. It helps boost the views on the channel, and subscribe, hit that bell for notification, and tune in next time.
Yes, thanks everybody, and thank you so much, Pixel, for all the work you've done, and thanks for being on the show.
Yeah, thank you guys. Be sure to stick it to the bots.
Yes. All right, you guys. See you later. Take care.